What's happening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Good Kraken podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ernell Pearson, alongside the five-star man, Devin Stanford.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. And the queen of bitchin', Genesee Gabrielle. Welcome back.
Oh.
Welcome back. We missed you. Hello.
I missed you guys.
Devin, what'd you ban a bong bar? Was that purposeful?
Yes, the account was created August 17th, 2021, and the account has been suspended or deactivated already.
Sick,
so.
You're the best. Stoop Ghost is good. Stoop Ghost in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that already.
Cool. Sick. Just making sure. Genesee, how have you been since the last time we had you here? Hello.
I have been good, man. Last time I was here, I was in Utah.
Yes.
So I'm back in Portland. So my life, ultimately went up in quality. You know?
Right. Yeah. Well, we got to go see Shang-Chi with you last week.
We did.
It was so exciting. It was so eventful. We had the greatest fucking time. I'm sure we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper as we kind of go into things here. But you went to Utah, and I remember you saying that you visited your friend. That your bestie,
my
your
best friend.
bestie. Yes. How was the trip
The
overall?
man. The trip overall was hot and good. It was.
Hot
I mean, Utah is hot. It's so warm.
Yeah.
It is. But other than that, it was wonderful. I don't normally get to see him because he lives in Utah and I live, various different places depending on my mood. And let's be honest, depending on what degree I'm chasing. So we get to see each other maybe once a year. So that was awesome. And we did lots of fun stuff. We went to quite a few different filming locations. We went to the Salt Flats, which is where they filmed the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I think the third
crab,
one
the
where
crab scene. Oh my god, the little crabs, the little rock crabs.
Yep, yeah, it was in Davy Jones's locker, which was wild. And that's also where they set all of the world's speed races for land racing, something like that. He had all the facts. I was just along for the ride. But so it was really cool. We also went to High School Musical filming locations. And we bowled where they bowled in High School Musical, the series, season 1, episode ? Because I can't remember what episode it was, but it was super fucking cool.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so it was a lit trip. And then we came home and my fiance's entire family visited us and my little brother visited us. So that was a wild time. We had the family here for a minute. Mm-hmm. And then I just basically chilled out and worked for a month. And then last week, we planned all of our activities in a 4-day period. So we saw the Jonas Brothers. We went to a premiere with you guys, and we went to Seattle because we don't know how to spread out our events.
That's awesome, though. That's just eventful. Lots of time, lots of fun things. Our boy Garrick actually went and saw the Jonas Brothers.
And I think he actually has the exact same hoodie that you have that you got from it. The tan colored one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He freaking has it. He has that damn hoodie. And I didn't think about it until I was rewatching our last episode with him. And I was like, holy shit, that's it. That's the hoodie.
We were both there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
he was
amazing.
He was in Utah.
Yeah, he's in Utah. So I think he saw it, 2 days after you did? Or a day after you did?
Wait, is that That's not the same person that was on with us when I came on last time, is it?
Mm-hmm.
It is the same person?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Garrett,
okay,
yes,
I know him.
yes.
Fuck yeah. How exciting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. So he was talking to us about it. And it was funny because I was doing the video editing after the fact. And I remember seeing the hoodie that he was wearing. Mm-hmm. And then I remember in my brain, I was having a disconnect on where I had seen that hoodie prior. And I was like, where the fuck am I recognizing this hoodie from? And so I was racking my brain with that. And then I remember there was one specific moment where I think you and Naomi were walking like beside us, and then like you kind of like moved ahead of us a little bit. I remember seeing the back of your hoodie and being like, "Oh, that hoodie's fire!" Like that hoodie is
It is a
trippy.
fire ass hoodie. Yeah. It's super fucking cool. It's actually like probably on my floor somewhere, not far. But it's yeah, it has like this really cool picture of them. So it's like this like weird kind of tan hoodie that has like this badass picture of the Jonas Brothers, but like the background of them was removed and it just has flowers all behind them. It's lit.
Hell yeah.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna have to make
Yeah.
a custom one of those. It'll be my own custom Jonas Brothers hoodie. I'll just make a
But like put like Devin on it or something.
yeah. It'll
Yeah.
be the Brevin brothers. The Brevin.
Yeah,
brothers.
see, look, the hand's already pointing. Pick me.
Which is perfect because instead of
guy.
picking you, my dude, we're picking Shang-Chi because this is the Good Kraken podcast.
And
Your
then Nick
choice.
sucks.
Oh, yeah, I hate you for all the nerdy video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 12 p.m. If you're watching live, you can submit questions and topics to tinyurl.com/GK submissions to be a part of the show. If you're having a good time so far, you can watch us record the show live and ad-free by following and subscribing right here at twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. We would love for you to give that to us to help keep us pushing content out for all of you listening or watching at home. But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that is totally fine. You can catch our episodes on your podcast service of choice at 8 a.m. the next day. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, by clicking the link in the About section of our Twitch page, right down there below our faces, right down there, and clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there. Damn it! We got some plan of work, my guy. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. We did a Shang-Chi review with Xander and Garrick on Saturday, and you can watch that on our YouTube or on our Twitch, both as VODs. They're openly accessible to all of you. I got my headphone cable dangling my hand left and fucking right. You can watch the episode there. We do kind of get into a little bit of spoiler territory there, where we kind of dive into some of our own favorite parts and parts that are like more remarkable in the movie. Tonight, in contrast, is going to be slightly different. We're going to be diving in very deep, as one would say, maybe too deep. Anyway, so our next thing is make sure to go and follow and review our podcast, as well as the lovely Genesis podcast for Let's Get Bitchin'. Go check that out. Follow, rate, review. Reviewing and stuff is the only way to break the goddamn algorithm these days, apparently. And we're trying to get our podcasts, plural, into Xander's rating us. Oh my god, Xander, hi. We love you, babe. Guys, we love you, Xander and Jagger. Oh my god, we love you guys. So we are getting into full like modes into where we're wanting our podcast to get into the ears of other people, okay? And the only way to do that is to rate and review us. Even if it's dumb shit, just make sure you 5-star it because you love us. And we love you.
And I'm the 5-star man. So
yes, exactly. Devin is the 5-star man. It is a proven scientific fact that he is the 5-star man. And as one piece of shit Ben Shapiro would say, facts don't care about your feelings, I guess. Well, it's funny how that like weird ass backwards, motto doesn't work whenever we want to make it work. When he wants to make it work. Use the Twitch do better and the sub off Twitch hashtags on Twitter. Continue to support the movement of marginalized creators getting hate rated left and right on fucking Twitch. It's a goddamn disaster. Make it not happen anymore. Please, please. I'd like to be brown in public and not like have people say trashy, shitty things to me about it. You know what I mean? I'm saying it'd be great. It'd be great. I get it. I get it. I have gained a lot of weight since high school. You know what I mean? I'm killing it tonight, guys. I'm killing it. I'm here with the energy. Great. I'm fucking bringing it tonight, guys. It's great. Anyways, let's get into the yummies here, okay? So the way that we're doing this tonight is that we are going to spend a little bit of time here kind of going over some very top level general thoughts. We read off your guys' reviews that you guys sent to me on the episode on Saturday. They were very brief. They were very, very just kind of surface level stuff. I want to dig more into why you guys gave them the review that you gave them, and then give out any more information that you want to give, generally speaking, about those things. And then after we get done with top level, surface level thoughts, general thoughts on the movie coming from you two, I might have a little bit extra commentary because I've had some time to actually think about it now. We are going to go into full spoiler territory, full on. And the way we're going to do it is by going plot beat by plot beat. And I'm just going to start naming off based on the synopsis that I have written for the entire movie. And we are going to go plot beat by plot beat, and we're just going to talk about all the major stuff that happens in the movie. Okay? As we go along. So, Genesee, as our lovely, lovely guest that we don't get to see very, very often, and we would love to see more fucking often, I want to hear from you first. What do you have to say further than just the review you gave for us before? Hit us with it.
Oh fuck. Okay, I'm gonna do this without spoilers. I can do it, guys. I can do it.
Okay, we believe in you.
That makes one of us. I loved it. First of all, if you have not been on the internet and you have not heard the overwhelming reviews already for Shang-Chi, this movie is fucking phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
It's fucking phenomenal. And it's one of those things, like, it's actually really funny because, so my best friend, I like to kind of gauge things about how we both react to them because he and I have very different taste in movies. So normally, like, I'll be like, oh my god, I fucking love this movie. It was amazing. Take WandaVision, for example. I still don't even think he's watched it. And if he has, he didn't like it, which is probably why I forgot whether or not he's watched it, because his opinion is wrong. I loved WandaVision, right? And so I fully expected him to come out of Shang-Chi being, him and being like, oh, it's all right. But he loved it. He loved it. I loved it. My fiance loved it because it's a piece of fucking artwork. And that's really the my take from it. And like, I don't have what I wrote in front of me, but that was basically what I was talking about. I mean, I walked out of that movie and like we were on our way home, and I couldn't stop thinking about how it felt to me both like a call out to like the kind of like original Marvel movies before it was bought by Disney, like that original, like very much the return to the origin story, and very much about the character and not so much like the Easter eggs and the call outs that we see. Like, so I mean, obviously they're there, but they weren't as aggressive as we've seen them in the recent movies, because most of the movies now are kind of like, oh yeah, remember what just happened in Captain Marvel? Or hey, guess what's going to happen in this next movie? And like, while we're obviously thinking about those things, it really felt like his movie. It really felt like his origin story, and like we were following every bit of him, and at the same time that it felt like kind of this call out to the very original like Marvel movie, it also felt like something very different than Marvel. To me, I felt like I was watching like a Harry Potter or a Lord of the Rings. And I think the reason that I felt that is twofold. In one part, visually, it felt like those movies. It felt very artistic. You had all of these beautiful, like, mystical, magical creatures. Their powers felt very, like, tangible. I mean, everything about this movie like felt like you were experiencing it. And then the second part that felt like that to me is it felt very magical. Like obviously Shang-Chi has this sort of like magical power that he's wielding. Shit. Is that a spoiler?
No, I think that's kind of a given. Like that's a given.
I think it's in the trailer.
You see it in the trailer.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You see him use the 10 rings in the trailer.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, the 10 rings have to be fucking magic, right? I mean, shit blasts out of them.
Yeah, of course, right.
And they're rings.
Shit and
piss
and every. Anyways.
Oh no.
Genesee, before you continue on, could you scoot your mic just a little bit away from you? It's kind. Away.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Away from me. Is that better?
Oh, that sounds so much better. You're perfect. You're perfect. You're wonderful. You're my favorite human being.
Okay.
Continue.
Oh, you're my favorite. Sorry, Devin. I'm just kidding. I love you both
He's the
equally.
5-star man. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need us. He's above our
Okay.
plane of existence.
I am a Nexus being.
Continue, Genesee. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so like with like his powers and just like everything in the movie, it just felt so magical, and it felt like we were getting into something deeper for Marvel in a lot of ways, in my whole opinion. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. I like it. Devin, my dude, where are you sitting on this movie now that you've seen it for almost a week later? I'm sure you've had some better thoughts here. What are the deeper details on your review you gave us on Saturday?
To echo what Genesee just said about this being an artistic film, echo. This is the most beautiful Marvel Studios movie that's ever come out. Hands down. It straight up is. The set pieces, I think, are the best set pieces I've seen out of any Marvel movie. The only thing that comes close to it vibrantly is shots of Asgard, in my opinion, or some set pieces like in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. You know, like with Ego Living Planet and stuff like that. But I just want to start that off that the scenery, the set locations, where they travel, the places they go, it that hooks you instantly, in my opinion. The character development was spot on. I love the origin story. I love how it introduces him in the beginning and falls in line and like has him explain his story to Katie. I love that aspect. I love the way that they build the antagonist's motive throughout the movie. It's so much fun, and the choreography is amazing. Like just the way that Simu Liu just did that whole movie. It's just great. It's just great. I'm over the moon on it. I want to watch it again. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know if you guys got to watch the episode from Saturday. I'm basically in the same boat as you guys are. I gave this movie like a 9.5 out of 10, arguably a 10 out of 10, because this movie is just so magnificent front to back. Even its couple of grievances that I had weren't enough to really like make me feel like it dragged anything down. The grievances are just small little tiny particular things that maybe could have handled arguably just a little bit better, but on like the greater scale of like what a Marvel movie is at this point, like it's nothing. It's fucking nothing, because the rest of this damn movie is an absolute gift from heaven, from the lords above, from whomever, Cthulhu, I don't care. Like this movie was gifted to us in such a way that we honestly as a human society do not deserve. This movie is so good, guys. This movie's so dang good. I can't understand it sometimes. I can't comprehend it. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because of how good the overall story is. Like, we're gonna dive into it deeper, but son.
Yeah. And to like add on to that, like this, yes, it's a Marvel Studios movie, but this feels like a fantasy martial arts movie first, with sprinkles of Marvel throughout it. You know what I mean? I felt like I was watching the freaking Monkey King. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like The Last Kingdom, or like Crouching Tiger.
Eyes.
Like, yeah. Oh my god, dude. Yep. Yeah. It's this movie did such a good job of giving us something that felt so different but still so like familiar enough for us to be able to grasp a hold of like what is going on. Like I remember talking to Devin during the movie and being like, dude, this feels like straight up Crouching Tiger. Like this movie feels like Crouching Tiger with just like little tiny sprinkles of Marvel superhero shit sort of like in the cracks of the overall like spectrum what's going on. And because of how they handled it, they had more room to sort of ground it in a reality. And because they had more room to ground it in reality, they had more room to give us characters that actually had emotions, and they actually had
Mhm.
reasons to be doing the things that they were doing, like front to back. They're like the only character that arguably did not have any was the Death Eater, and that's not a spoiler either because he's in the trailer. But the Death Eater is the masked
Mhm.
ninja guy that in
Mhm.
the trailer beating the shit out of Shang-Chi.
Right.
It's just like everybody else had their reasons to be doing what they were supposed to be doing and doing what they wanted to be doing. Death Dealer, sorry, Xander. Thank you. Death Dealer, not Death Eater. I was thinking of Soul Eater with the little fucking bat things, but we'll get into that.
Death Eaters are from Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. It's getting cold. Lord of the Rings is better. Anyways,
Hey, Xander was on it.
oh
Oh
yeah, yeah,
shit.
yeah. I'll go
Yeah.
fucking kill myself, Xander. Anyways,
Please
anyways,
don't.
no, I know. I love you guys. I'm sorry. No, like bottom line, you guys nailed it. This movie was incredible. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this movie as much as I did, as much as Xander and Garrett did. I feel like there's a pretty general consensus that this movie is a goddamn piece of gold. This movie's a piece of gold, and I feel like
It's
most
a
people,
goddamn gem.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It is in my top 3 Marvel movies.
Same,
Mhm.
same.
Yep.
Retweet. Yeah,
Yep.
big time retweet.
I have
Yeah.
a really hard time ranking them because I like everything so much. That's why I created my own rating system on my podcast because I can't give things objectively like 5 and 10 stars. I had to create a whole other system. But if I did have a hierarchical list, it would be very high, but I can't because there would be like 10 movies in my number 1 spot because I love everything too much.
That's okay. That's totally fair. Like our thing is like, it might have something to do with us like being idiots. Where I feel like I have to have sort of a hierarchy tier system in order for me to feel like I'm organized in my feelings. It's like my way of
Right.
compartmentalizing things. So when someone's like, "Did you like Endgame?" I'm like, "Did I like Endgame?" And I don't have to like think about it so much. I can just be like, "Fuck yeah, I liked Endgame. That's number one on my list."
Is it really?
Yeah,
Is that number
for
1 on
Marvel
your list?
movies. Yeah, yeah,
Shit.
yep. I know.
That's wild.
I've watched Endgame probably about like 28 times already. Honestly,
I love that.
yeah, it's been a lot. It's
That's
been a lot.
amazing.
But sometimes I just get in the mood to watch it again, and so I'll just fucking put it on my TV in the background or something like that. I haven't lately,
Yeah.
but Xander, it's my number one now. Shang-Chi, Endgame, Infinity War. Yes, I count them together. Don't at me. And Winter
I
Soldier
agree
in my
with
top
that.
three. And Halo says that's cheating, Xander. It is cheating, Xander. Anyways,
No, it's not.
it's
No,
cheating.
it's
No,
I'm
it's
not.
with
fucking
you,
cheating. That's
Xander.
Only the
totally
It's
dark
not
side or
cheating.
no
It's
likes the
not.
McRib.
it's fucking cheating. It's fucking cheating. Anyways, Genesee, I hate to do it to you. I told the guys on
Oh
Saturday.
no.
I told the guys on
Oh
Saturday
no.
that you don't like doing ratings, but I have to ask you because I told them I didn't ask Genesee because I know Genesee isn't into it. But we're in a thing where us three, we are the Marvel crew for Good Kraken / Let's
Oh,
Get Bitchin'. Okay, we need to know.
okay.
We need to know. Genesee,
Can I
Gabrielle.
use my rating system or do I have to do a 10 stars?
Well, okay. Explain your rating system to the people at home so that we
Oh
can.
my god. I thought you'd never ask. Here at Let's Get Bitchin'. Here at Let's Get Bitchin', we have a 3-point rating system that is confusing as fuck because it doesn't actually involve the number 3. So what we
Great.
call it is the fucks to give system. 0 fucks to give is I hate this piece of work, this movie. I honestly am worse off for having watched it, and if I could burn it in hell myself, I would. 1 fuck to give is, in the words of our Lord and Savior, Taylor Swift, it isn't hate, it isn't love, it's just indifference. So 1 fuck to give is more like, I didn't hate it, I don't want it to burn in hell, but I'm not going to obsessively watch it either. It's all right. It was a thing to watch. 2 fucks to give is I loved it. It changed my life. And I honestly don't know how there was a point in my life where I lived without it.
Okay. All right.
That
Fair
is
enough.
the fucks to give system.
Fair enough. Fair
Thank you.
enough. All right. Let's
We're very proud of it.
let's do it.
Very
What
proud.
where are you at with Shang-Chi then?
Honestly, if there's only one way to rate this movie, and it is 2 fucks to give.
It is 0 fucks. It is 0
It is-
fucks.
I'm gonna say it 10 out of 10.
Sounds like a 10 out of 10 to me, Devin. Yeah,
I could
sounds like
agree
that.
with that. It's a 10 out of 10. And that's why I created the system, because I am the bitch who would be like, yeah, everything's a 10 out of 10, except for the ones that are not, and they're a 0 out of 10. And honestly, I would be okay if I had never watched the fucking Les Bomb. I never needed to watch that movie. But you know what I did? I did, and I get upset about it every single fucking day. Fine.
Hey, that's
Your energy is up here, and
I
I'm
love
here for
it.
it.
I love it. I'm absolutely fucking here for it. Which is it's funny because like I feel like there's a lot of space for a lot of movies like that, right? I mean, like Venom was probably 0 fucks. You know, Venom was very
Or Army of the Dead.
No, Army of the Dead was 2 fucks for sure. Army of the Dead was 2 fucks.
All right.
It
I
was
need
2
to ask, Genesee, what do you think of Army of the
Oh,
Dead?
Jesus Christ!
I don't think I watched that.
you should. It's on
You're,
Netflix.
you're,
It's
you're
on
better.
Netflix.
You're better off. It's a 0.
No,
It's a
don't
0.
listen. Don't listen to the 5-star man right now. He's being
I
the
think I'm
4-star.
gonna
He likes
He's being-
the McRib, Genesee.
Genesee. Okay, actually, Genesee, do you like the McRib?
I've never had the McRib because
Fuck!
I'm a good person and I don't eat McDonald's.
Ah, damn it! You're the second person at Good Kraken now that said that, and I'm feeling ashamed.
Okay, but give me the name of that movie so I can watch it, and I'll be the tiebreaker.
Army of
for
the
y'all.
Dead. Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's
Army-
a Zack Snyder movie with Dave Bautista.
It's a zombie
Okay.
movie. It's a zombie movie, but it's like a
Okay.
slapstick zombie movie.
Okay.
That has
I can
no
be down with that.
continuity.
So is it like Zombieland?
It's
Zombieland is way better. Don't even compare it.
Zombieland's a little bit more focused on like
Zombieland was a good movie.
Zombieland was a little bit more focused on the comedy aspect, where like Army of the Dead was more focused on like the. So I guess
It's
the
so
action.
bad that it's funny. It's
my
their
God.
giant
no.
serious.
Don't
I don't-
listen.
I don't like
don't listen.
those.
Don't listen to Devin. He's
Like,
being
dude,
dramatic.
I lost my car.
No,
Like
no,
that.
God, no. It's
hate
an
that
action. It's an
movie.
action zombie movie. It just there's
Okay.
some. It's Zack Snyder, so it's like there's some stuff in it.
Dude,
that
I
is,
Lost My Car is a great example of a 0 fucks movie. I can't even remember what happens in it, but I know
Honestly, me
that I was
either.
better off for having watched it.
Yeah, me either.
I will
don't-
never
Okay.
forget the Zoltan.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
I don't
Anyways,
even know.
guys, we are gonna move into full spoiler territory now. We've spent plenty enough time
Zoltan.
on this here. Everyone watching or listening right now, if you have not watched Shang-Chi, we love you. Go watch that damn movie. Come back, listen and watch this. Oh, or do both. Do both. And then
Yeah.
listen to it again on Let's Get Bitchin', because Genesee pushes these episodes onto Let's Get Bitchin's channel. as well.
Or listen to both of them at the same time.
Oh.
And watch the VOD at the same time.
And then watch Army of the Dead because it's good.
Don't.
I
Oh,
can't stand it. I
no.
can't stand it. Anyways, go watch this dang movie and then come back, listen to this. It will be here. It is here for you. Okay, for you to come back, and then you can tweet at us. You can talk to us. We're all over on Instagram, on all the social spheres. Hit us up, comment down below on YouTube, all that good stuff, and just let us know what you thought about it. Red Halo in the chat. Also, people watching, go see Shang-Chi in theaters. Support its growth in the
Yes,
theaters. Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Go
I know
see it. Go see
in
it.
Portland, Oregon, which is where we reside, you
Mhm.
have to be vaccinated to go to the theater now. So if that is something that you're worried about,
Yep.
definitely look into it. See if your local area is doing it as well.
Get your
Be
shoddy
safe.
toddies. Get those shoddy toddies. Anyways, we love you. Get the fuck out of here. It is now time. It is time, guys, and it is going to be a grand time. So run this down one more
We
time.
were made for this.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of quote unquote these hands is kind of what I've been calling it.
For real though.
Yeah, big time for real. Was released September 3rd, 2021. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton with a runtime of 2 hours and 12 minutes. The budget was just in between 150 million to 170 million. Box office update. Devin, did you look at that the last time? I know we were in the car earlier talking about
Let
it.
me see here. I know it was sitting at about 50 million over the weekend.
Yeah, so I think it was like 49.9 million over something like that. Something like that. Yeah. It's made quite a bit more since opening night. I'll tell you that. It's been making some moonies, which is great, which is awesome for first week stuff. Like that's always good to have. More people need to go watch the movie. Like Halo said, go out, support it. We need movie theaters to stay in business. It's we got stuff. So we got to make sure movie industry is taken care of here. Devin, what you got?
Still same numbers. It looks like I don't think there's been a.
That's fine. Sometimes
update.
the update are late. Go ahead and read it all. I'm gonna touch on it. You know, if you find it, just come back.
Okay.
Come back, you know.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Officially, domestically,
Yes.
we are looking at 94.6 million
Woo!
domestically,
Woo!
and worldwide we are looking at 150 million.
There we go.
Holy shit.
There we go. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. They made their budget back already. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad.
First week.
I fucking love it. Guys, let's get started with Shang-Chi Spoilercast right now. Okay, so we start this movie off with a dope subtitled Chinese spoken intro here that's talking from Wenwu's perspective. Okay? And it's about the beginning stories of what we can see as Wenwu. We see him go into battle. We see him fuck up this battle. Who does he go off? Oh, he goes off. It is wild. Within like 3 minutes of this damn movie starting, it's just going. It's just fucking going, right? It explains that he had conquered a bunch of civilizations throughout his course of living, and it's mentioned a few times throughout the movie, essentially to insinuate that Wenwu has been around for 1,000 years, give or take, right? That's the overall idea. Well, Wenwu falls in love. In a search to find the Great Protector, he accidentally finds a better protector, a condom, for his love.
Condom.
As they make sweet,
Obviously
sweet.
not. Condom.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. You know, that's touche.
Yeah, see Xander in the chat. No condom.
The 10 rings would not allow anything other than going in raw. You know what I mean? Do my Robert De Niro face. There you go. Anyways, he finds love in a wonderful young woman and has 2 children with her. Okay, and that is Shang-Chi and Xialing, brother and sister. I want to pause here really quick, right? Because this is awesome. So for the intro to this movie, dude, what a way to fucking start a movie. The intro like set up perfectly what was going on with Wenwu, what the 10 rings could do right off the bat, right? The glimpse of how Wenwu started as a bad guy and then moved into finding love and wanted to move away from that life. And oh my god, Tony Leung playing as Wenwu. I haven't been able to stop thinking about that, dude. Oh my god, he's so good. He's so good. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this intro. Genesee, go.
Okay. I feel like we just have to talk about that whole, like, it wasn't a sex scene, but like it felt intimate. That fight scene. Oh my god.
It was palpable, one could say.
That energy was palpable.
I was getting sweaty thinking about it, just watching it. Whew.
You were also like sitting right next to me and you were like, oh, that mating ritual. I gotta say, watching movies with you guys is like the best.
Devin, just for context, I leaned over to Genesee. I was like, when am I gonna get a mating ritual like this? I want a mating ritual.
No, I'm sorry that like no one else got to experience that moment with Ernell because that was priceless.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful
It
moment, you
was
know?
it was beautiful, and it was like I that's like also an overall thing for the movie. Like we were talking a lot about the artistry in it, but like specifically the choreography of those fight scenes was incredible. And not just the fighting of it, but like they really did show emotion in the fight scenes. And I feel like that can get lost a lot of the time in fight scenes is that there is emotion behind it that isn't just anger, right? And in that scene, it was like you could feel that she was trying to defend her land and he wanted to get in and
You're
to the
brilliant. You're
land
killing it. You're
at
killing it.
first
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
first, but
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
get into something else,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
did.
Well, to get in and then
And
get in. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. 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 Get in squared. Get in squared. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
get in squared.
Get in loser. We're
But
going driving. Get in loser. We're finding the great protector dragon.
Get in, loser. The
Get in,
victory sucks.
I hate you. I
get
hate
in,
you.
loser. We're making babies.
Yep, that's it right there. That's
Basically
one.
what
Get
happened.
in loser. We're having children.
But anyway, as I was saying before I fucked myself up there, there was so much going on, and you could see the tension that turned into like a different sort of tension that was just very like you could tell that they were connecting and she was still going to stand her ground, you know.
Right.
And it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. And I have mad respect for their mom. She's a queen after my own heart.
Oh,
I love her.
And we will be touching on her here in a little bit because wait, Devin.
I would die for that woman.
Oh my, honestly, and she would die for you. Devin, what were your thoughts on this entire sort of intro setup to Wenwu?
I love the storybook telling style of the intro of the story, showing the origin of these characters, who these characters are, really explaining who the man is, right?
Yeah.
And how this all came to be. It was an origin story within an origin movie that didn't take the whole movie to do. You know what I mean? It only took 5 minutes. And it was so well executed and had all the perfect information in it. And can we talk about the vibe too? The music, the set pieces that they showed.
The score in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, the score in this movie. The soundtrack and the score,
Man.
both of them just nailed it this entire movie.
Both phenomenal.
The intro with the fantasy, the Chinese lore fantasy, and also just like I said, that storybook style and everything, and all the music, it just set a tone for the whole movie.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way throughout it. Maybe not so much in the very beginning, and that I don't mean that in a bad way, but when they're valet drivers and living in San Fran, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it has a transition for sure.
Exactly. But the whole movie outside of that was all the same tone, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, we actually cut to the scene with Shang-Chi, or as we now know for this part, Sean, is working as a valet driver with his friend Katie. As they are taking care of cars, one pulls up. It's a hot car. It is a hot car. Mm-hmm. Katie says, "Let me drive the car." And Sean says, "No." And Katie says, "I'm a good driver." And that fucking happens. All of that is entire mess. Essentially, we get an introduction to the relationship between Shang-Chi and Katie. We get a bunch of dynamic moments between seeing that Sean is very integral in Katie's family because Shang-Chi does not have a family, so he has Katie's, basically. And this is a beautiful part here because it talks a lot about family dynamics in Asian culture. Everything that had to do with the grandma was spot on. Everything that had to do with the way that Sean and Katie were interacting with the family, where it's like Katie had the younger brother who was like, I believe in you, like that fucking kid. Like, but them also sort of like cleaning around the family, putting away the dishes as they're going, kissing and hugging before they leave, all that stuff is very integral stuff in Asian culture. And this part was the first part where I was like ready to sort of tear up because they represented it in such a way that felt so spot on coming from my Filipino ass family, and being able to see these things in retrospect and see it from another character visually was rad. Did you guys have any comments on like the overall, like seeing just the relationship between Shang-Chi and Katie here? Jenny, so let's start with you.
Um, I really loved it. That whole, I mean, the whole movie. Like I could just see that for everything. But like, I think that they did a really phenomenal job of the relationship building. It's hard to do. I feel like for Marvel sometimes at this point because we have so much of the universe built already that I feel like sometimes Marvel can get a bit distracted and they leave the relationship aspects like underdeveloped. And this I mean, the relationships that they're building in this movie were phenomenal. They were very strong, and I definitely felt like what you were saying in terms of like they did not. It was no accident that there were such. They very intentionally like integrated the cultural aspects into this movie, and I think that showed through a lot in the relationships. Not just in like the way that we saw them and read them, but like they they felt every actor on the screen felt so connected to one another. Even I don't want to skip ahead, but I do want to skip ahead because even when they meet his aunt, who he had never met before, there was like an instant connection, and I feel like that really comes from like what they set up in the beginning with him interacting with Katie's family, and that he grew up around that culture, but it wasn't his family. You know, he didn't have a family around him for most of his life, and the family that he did have was unhealthy and abusive and toxic.
Yeah, as one could say, yes.
So yes. um, so there was just a lot there, and they set that up in the beginning. Like I think that in itself was a really beautiful moment, and it also set up so much for what we see later in the film that was so important to Shang-Chi's story and like how he gets to where he's at in the end. Um, and yeah, I overall, it was something that I feel like we don't see. Obviously, I don't have the same relationship that you do, but it was really beautiful to see that on the screen and to just see such a pure and beautiful moment of that family and connection. It was gorgeous. And that's not something we see in Marvel a lot. I feel
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
saw it in Black Panther and we saw it in, I would argue, like Captain Marvel, with the best friend. You see like really strong connection there, but a lot of times that's really missing.
I mean, like, yeah, if we think about it, right, it's
Yeah.
most of the Avengers don't really have their family around anymore, besides like Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hawkeye kind
Yeah.
of has. I mean, they haven't dived into it enough, but what we've
Yet.
seen, yeah, exactly, exactly. I
Yet.
was gonna
Yeah.
say that, but what we've seen of Hawkeye, like in Endgame and in Civil War and stuff, like we see them have that connection, with their family members and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It'll
Right.
be interesting to see it a little bit more deep dived into as we kind of go. I'm sure they will give us more chunks of family dynamic from Shang-Chi as a character
Mhm.
in general. Let's move through. I want to jump back to something from Devin's perspective here in a second. So we get the scene of Sean and Katie leaving, and getting they get onto a train, okay, leaving Katie's family's house. And this entire train scene happens. The introduction of the actual Shang-Chi takes off right here. Okay? And we get an entire fight scene. Man comes up to Sean and Katie and says, "Give me the necklace." And he says, "No." And he's like, "Give me the necklace now." And he's like, "Get out of here, mister." And then it all goes fucking downhill from there, right? We get one of the dopest fucking action set pieces from Marvel ever, because it feels more like a martial arts combat scene, right? Dope. Super dope. Devin, I want to hear from you. What were your thoughts on this starting point of the ship taking off?
So this scene was like if you took a Jackie Chan fight scene, blended it with freaking God, what was that movie? Speed, with the
Yeah,
bus.
yeah,
Speed.
yep. Keanu Reeves, or was
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
yeah,
yep.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah,
There
yeah.
we go. Yeah.
So this is a
Oh,
Jackie Chan fight scene in the movie Speed that is somehow also laced with the bus fight scene on fucking in Nobody with Bob Odenkirk.
Yes. Did you watch that yet,
Because
Josie?
I don't
Oh,
think
you
you
need to.
so.
Nobody,
you
you need to
watch
watch it.
Nobody.
You need to watch that movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah, yeah. It's got
We
Bob
got you.
Odenkirk.
We got
So
you.
we see Shang-Chi. We see him like defending himself mostly and just kind of like pushing back on the guys. And it kind of gets more it escalates more, and then Razor Fist is like, "All right, these guys suck. Let me do my job."
Yeah. Yeah.
Razor Fist,
Yeah.
sword arm, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then Shang-Chi just looks at him and he's like, "Huh, all right. Well, I'm gonna fuck you up."
And it's handled. And it's handled.
Does he's like weaving in and out of the bus, like going window to window, getting on top, hanging in. I love the small little comedic factor when he was trying to like flip back into the bus, like through the doors, and he just hits the doors. He's like,
Dude.
"Katie, open the door! Katie, open the door!" And he like knocks on it.
Well, and then
she like looks at him for a second.
Well, and then there's the guy from Spider-Man who told Spider-Man to
Yes.
do a flip, and then he's on this fucking bus, like,
Yeah.
hey,
And he's
we're
just-
doing
Where
a
do you
fight
live?
reaction.
Yeah, we're live streaming.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, it's so good. This entire fight scene was so damn good. But basically, as an introduction to like everything that was happening, though, right, Devin? Like I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
this was the perfect sort of setup going into like what the rest of the movie's like combat set pieces were going to be. What a way to set it up. Also, Xander in the chat says that's that Brad Allen choreography right there. Rest in peace. Rest in power,
peace.
Brad Allen. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
Part of that choreography. Remember when Shang-Chi takes off his jacket and uses it to fight the guys and misdirect them?
Inspiration
It's
Jackie Chan. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's an homage to Jackie Chan.
King Jackie. Yep. Oh,
Yep.
who Brad Allen did stunt choreography for a while. So we lucked out on that one. Anyways, the bus fight happens. The bus gets split in half. Katie takes the seat because the bus driver smacks his gob or something, gets knocked the fuck out. Katie's driving poorly, mind you, and is and taking instructions from Shang-Chi to go either left or right. Tells her at some point, take a hard right when I tell you to, or give you the signal. And, whole fight goes down, rings the bell, bus goes crashing down, runs through a bunch of cars. Or make great partners, trailer part, yeah. Anyways, so we kind of move forward a little bit here. We have a part where Sean, now Shang-Chi, spills the beans to Katie and says, "I'm not actually Sean. My name's Shang-Chi." Have an entire conversation about how dumb that is when they're on an airplane traveling to find his sister. He spills the beans also about a postcard that he got from his sister, and that he now needs to find her because he's convinced that his dad is trying to track them down or kill them. And, Sanders says, fun fact, I found out today Kung Fu Dad on TikTok taught Brad Allen. I did not know that. That's amazing. Anyways, we move into a part here where they find Shai Ling's underground fight club. Okay? And this is our introduction here, because we have Shang-Chi diving into the fight thing. We get Wong fighting Abomination for a moment. Okay, fully evolved Abomination, who is also voiced, quote unquote, by Tim Roth, the original guy who played as Abomination from the old Hulk movie, right? And Wong being back was rad too. We get that, opens a portal. We have a brief moment where we see the raft in the background of the portal. That's dope. We can talk about that further on another time, but for now, we'll kind of move on here. We also see a scene of one of the Black Widows fighting one of the extremists people in one of the cells. So that was an interesting find. But most off, we get a beautiful scene of Shang-Chi getting his ass handed to him by his fucking sister. He doesn't want to fight her. He doesn't want to swing on her or anything. She whoops his ass and just walks out of the fucking arena and then meets up with them. Basically, says, "Come sit in my office." And so Shang-Chi and Katie go in and hang out in the office. And Xialing explains to them that... Where was I? Oh, Shang-Li tries to explain exactly why Xialing was upset with Shang from being children. Shang abandoned them, abandoned the family. Xialing did not know why. Lots of exposition about this later on, but we will get there. For now, the underground fight club gets attacked by the 10 Rings. We get a really cool action set piece on the side of this fucking building. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! This part was good. Now, I want to pause here now. Genesee, what were your thoughts on this sort of sort of setting up the relationship between brother and sister now, rather than potential love interest? Because the dynamics are obviously different, right? How do you feel about how they set this up?
I feel like it was interesting. They took a really interesting approach with it. I feel like we all once he got in the ring, I feel like we all knew it was going to be his sister. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like even Naomi called it. No shade on my babe, but like she's not the biggest Marvel person, so like when she can call something happening, it's pretty obvious.
For sure. For sure.
But it was really interesting because you had to like at that point we knew that he had a sister, right? Because he's looking for her.
Yes.
But we don't know a lot else about their backstory. We know that they were separated when he was 14 because he moved to the States. But we don't know a lot about him at this point. We have like little bits and pieces. So we didn't exactly know how she was gonna react. And so I feel like it was set up really well in that regard. Like all of the pieces were making sense, right? In that like by the time that she was whooping his ass, we were like, yes, we know how she feels about him now.
Yeah, very much so.
She's not happy.
She's
not, this is an accident. She wanted to whoop his ass. And what I thought was really interesting about it was that he still seemed to feel some sort of like strong sibling relationship for her, right? Because he wouldn't hit her.
Yes.
You know? And he seemed to still have that like instinct to protect her. She obviously didn't have that issue. So I loved that. I think that they like overall it was a tricky thing to set up, and I think that they did well considering that the path that they took it on. But I think there are things around Shiley that feel unfinished to me. And obviously like there are reasons for that. There are reasons for that. But I feel like there's still so much about her that we don't know. And I feel like looking at it now, having watched the whole movie, like I feel pretty similarly to when we met her. Like I don't really like I feel like at the end of the movie they were acting like they now have a good sibling relationship, but I still don't really feel like they do.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if that's an issue with how they set it up, to answer your question. Like, I don't know if that is an issue with how they set up that relationship, or if that's just how it's supposed to be, right? That might be how I'm supposed to be feeling.
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I can see why you would feel that way myself too. Devin, where are you on this intro to Xialing and this sort of like angry sister, not angry, like regretful brother sort of thing that they did here as sort of like a perfect entryway to it? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it makes sense out of the backstory and the way that they introduce her. It makes sense. Also, she knocked Shang-Chi the fuck out.
The fuck out. And he
Yeah.
knocked the
fuck
fuck
out.
out. Yep.
Yeah, she just kicks him upside the head, and he just drops. It even dramatically
Mhm.
shows him fall and hit his head and everything. Um, yeah, no, she's pissed off. She's mad at her brother. She's mad that he went into hiding instead of looking for her. You know, she said she waited months for him before she finally decided to run off. Um,
Devin,
yeah,
could you
no,
do me a favor and
yeah.
move your mic just a little bit closer for me? Now I gotta switch you guys a little bit there. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I got a little bit more relaxed. But yeah, you know, so she's obviously upset, and Shang-Chi regrets doing what he did. But they are quickly interrupted by the Ten Rings. So
Assassins.
yeah.
Yes, they
Um
are. They are. Here, I gotta.
yeah. Speaking of
Show
Brad
you.
Allen as well, that bamboo scene just screamed like Jackie Chan Shanghai Nights to me. You know what I mean? Just
Oh
the whole
yeah,
catwalk. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. Well,
Like
not even just Shanghai Nights, but they also do in Rush Hour too. Like it's like
yeah.
it is a common theme amongst like martial arts movies to have like bamboo
Mhm,
structure fights. And
mhm.
they did it very well in this. Surprisingly well, they handled it. I thought
Mhm.
at least.
Yeah, no, it's really good. The only thing they didn't do, but only because it made sense, is have somebody go from bamboo stick to bamboo stick, you know, as the poles were falling.
Nah, fuck that, dude. That's tight.
I
That's
know.
tight. There's
um,
a lot of little
but
things like that that I'm like,
I
nah,
thought it
fuck it.
I thought it was well executed though, and it was one of the first times you kind of see that moment too, where Shang-Chi wasn't trying to kill them; he was just trying to fight his way through, and then his sister just kind of like straight up was like, "No, you kill them, or they kill you," and then he just kind of
Yeah.
said, "Fuck it," and he started throwing people off the side of the scaffolding, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like one of those first times we see a hero go, "Oh, I am gonna kill these people," you know what I mean? And you don't see that
Yeah.
much in a Marvel movie. Just
That's
saying.
facts. That's facts. That's facts. We get in a very interesting scene where Xialing actually goes out of her way after disappearing, comes back to save Katie during a potential fall,
Mhm.
sort of stabilizing the idea that Xialing maybe is not as petty as she's trying to come off to be. But then we have some more of Shang-Chi running away from the Ten Ring soldiers, making his way up to where he believes the ring is being taken by the Death Dealer, and gets one of the sickest choreographed fights ever. This whole like fight scene between him and and the Death Dealer was, oh my god. There's a scene where like he like catches the knife and tries to like undercut him on it, and then they like switch knife hands basically like together, and it's so dope how they like
Yeah.
sort of move that around. It's very much more interesting because the Death Dealer was played by a very popular YouTube martial artist that got recruited for this movie. And their choreographed sort of martial arts styles were so differently indifferent, where they very obviously had different levels of sort of like aggression in the way that they were handling the fight, and they portrayed it so beautifully in the choreography in this one simple scene. Also showing Shang-Chi struggling to keep up because the Death Dealer was obviously a better fighter in that moment based on what was going on. And then, what do you know? Wen Wu fucking pops up. Right
Yep.
at the fucking end. Daddy
Yep.
is here. And Daddy, weirdly enough, has no bad blood with him. Is not trying to kill him and Xialing. He just says, "Oh, my kids, let's go," and then they just go.
Yeah. To like
I'm just
reiterate
gonna
that.
say it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Manipulative Daddy 101
Yeah.
is
Well,
what he did.
100%. 100%.
if I remember right, one of the first things he says to Shang-Chi, he's like, "I told my men, even if they tried, they couldn't kill you. I was right."
He does say that.
That manipulative motherfucker. I hate him.
Yeah.
But you hate him because it was acted so well.
Oh, because it was acted so well. The actor did a phenomenal job, hands down. Especially because there were moments where I sympathized with him. I was like, "Ooh, dude, that's rough." I mean, like his wife dying thing when he hears his wife's voice, I was like, "Oh,
Oh, my heart. My
I'm
fucking
supposed
heart,
to hate
right?
you. I want to
Right?
hate you, but my heart." Like it
'Cause-
was so sad. But like poor Shang-Chi, he has daddy issues. He has big time daddy issues.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think he needs
We're
to
we're
like talk about it. I think he needs to go to some therapy,
we're working on it.
you
They're
know?
they're definitely working on it because following that scene, he takes them back
I
to the
don't
compound. What was that,
yeah,
Jesse?
nothing.
Nothing. Okay,
Nothing.
we'll get there. I'm
We're
sure we'll
not
get
there
there.
yet. We're
Yeah,
not there
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
We'll get
I
there.
see. I see where you're going for. I see what you're going for here. When they arrive, when we brings them to a shrine-like area where he shows them why he needed the pendants. This is the big wooden dragon statue with the giant, beautiful artistry on the wall that acts as sort of art representing the village that their mother is from. He puts the little pendants into the dragon's eyes. We get what some of the sickest fucking graphical fidelity here of the fucking water popping up and then turning. Oh my god, dude! Garrick was very adamant about talking about the visual effects of this movie, and this was the first one where I was like, "Oh my god, this
Mm.
is beautiful." Anyways, we find out that the water illuminates on the ground and creates a maze that is supposed to be a very specific path to find the entryway to the village that their mother is from. He explains that he believes, Wenwu believes, that their mother is trapped within the village, being held captive by the people of the village that she is from, and that he needs to rescue her. Why? Because he's been hearing her voice in his head, calling for help. And now we have this interesting dynamic where both Shang-Chi and his sister don't want to tell their dad, dude, you're fucking losing it, right? So instead, they're trying to reason with him and say, Dad, she's gone. She's gone. That's not her. She's gone. Like, there's no way that this makes any sense. And they're trying to. He's not grasping the concept. This is sort of like the first real taste we get of like their father's sort of emotional distraught of where he is now in comparison to where he was the day that their mother died. This, I think for me, this is when I first started falling in love with Wenwu, very much so, more than just the beginning stuff. But like here, like as a villain, as a character, really feeling for how like what he was going through, from losing the love of his life to having to now try to explain, be so like filled with grief that that you like that that's probably not her, but he's going to fucking try anyways. It was beautiful. Like seeing this whole explanation of everything going down here. They're trying to reason with him. He's not having it. He has a moment where he kind of gets a little aggressive with them and throws them onto the ground and tells his soldiers to lock them away. What, Devin, I want to start with you here. What was your thoughts on getting this very more like abrasive first first impression, full impression of Wenwu here, including the kind of weird, goofy dinner scene that they had right in this part here. Let's hear from you.
Um, it's it's the manipulated being manipulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, he is so desperate though to see his wife again. Like that's really like deep down you could tell that like well, I guess not as much this part. It seems like he could be lying about her in an attempt to find the great protector. You know what I mean?
sure,
That they
sure.
could, just kind of going off of the intro. Um, but that goofy dinner scene, I literally thought Katie was going to derail it so hard and that he was going to get pissed off, and it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, what? you,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it was a good introduction. You saw like a lot of wariness from Xiling and Shang-Chi, because they're like, we know who the fuck our father is. Like, this is weird. This is weird. What's going on? Why is he just acting like everything's normal, you know? And they're just like, no, we're not gonna march on the village with you. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
You know. I enjoyed it. This was kind of the calm part of the movie too. This was like the calm part before the adventure. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but it was a good introduction for the character building between everybody, and just kind of seeing how they all play off of each other, who trusts who doesn't trust who wants what, you know, type of deal.
Sure. Genesee, what thoughts did you have on this?
Um, I feel very similarly. I also feel like Katie. I haven't talked about Katie, and I need to talk about Katie because first of all, Aquafina. She has my whole entire heart. I love Aquafina. Anything with her in it, I'm like, please take me now. She's just hilarious, and I was really interested to see how she was going to play out in this movie because she has such a distinctive like comedy edge to her. Not that that's all that she can do, but like she's a very funny person, and the way that she acts out roles tends to be very funny. And she brought that to Shang-Chi and so much more. Like so much more. She brought like this amazing like the charisma that she has, but also like this heart that I really didn't expect to get from her in this role. So it was really beautiful. But I need to backtrack because I have to talk about this scene and we went right over it
Oh, okay.
when they're in the airplane. The airplane. When they're in the airplane.
Yeah.
I loved that scene because it is like he's telling her the whole like his story and all that, and it's cool the way that he tells it too because like you start with it's the very storybook-esque thing that we were talking about. Like visually, it was really cool because you're hearing him, and the whole thing that you're hearing they're on the plane, but what you're seeing is different things, right? And so then they come onto the plane, and she's just like sitting there like, dude, we just boarded a plane and your life story is wild.
Yeah.
But they have the interaction that they showed in the commercial where he's telling her what his actual name is. And I loved the whole so you changed your name from Shang-Chi to Sean? He was like, yeah. She's like, Sean. Shang. Sean. And she was like, I think we need to talk about being on the run. He's like, and I think she even said she was like, no wonder they found you.
Changing your name from Shang to Sean is like changing your name from Gino to Gina.
No, it's the best.
Yeah, it was
was amazing.
That one was great. I really loved when the waitress, like the airplane attendant, like came up and like out of nowhere, and they had the whole interaction of like, do you guys want vegetarian or beef? And they're like, vegetarian, please. She's like, oh, we just ran out of vegetables. Would you guys want beef instead? And they're like, sure. What
What else can we get?
Like, it was such an awkward, like, sort of moment where they're talking about like him maybe murdering people and like
Yeah.
like it just
Being raised to be an assassin and then running away from his father so that he wouldn't have to kill people.
Yeah.
And then being like, oh yeah, we'll take beef.
That is textbook Marvel comedy subtleties right there.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
I was thinking the same thing. Textbook. Yeah. Yeah, it was beautiful. And I feel like in that way like that's one of the ways that this movie felt both different and very very on brand for Marvel. Is that like it obviously brought its own sense of humor. But also stayed true to Marvel. I also really enjoyed in the trailer that they showed you how to pronounce his name in a very natural way with that conversation.
They did that very purposely. Even Xander here in the chat can attest for this. They very much did it purposely because I think they saw that there were tons of interviews and stuff where people were not pronouncing it correctly. So they finally dropped that final trailer and it's like, hey, this is how it's actually pronounced, so people could get an idea of like how it's done correct. And then I believe they actually did like a thing for Lucy Moo where like he had explained it in a video himself. Like, I think he was like on a live show or something like that. We explained on there too the same day they dropped the trailer, and there was a whole thing about it just to make sure that was actually being pronounced correctly. But yeah, very purposeful. There was no way there was not purposeful. I want to follow up with the Marvel comedy part here, because as these two get locked away, we get a great reveal here of Trevor, the gentleman who was the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, has apparently been taken captive by the actual Mandarin, Wenwu. Also, funny part at the dinner table where he's like, and now they named me after a chicken. And like, it's
Yeah.
anyways,
Yep.
so we get to see Trevor Slattery, and he is just as bonkers, arguably, if not more, than he was in Iron Man 3, right? So he's rambling on about what has happened between then and now, as Xander said on Saturday's episode, basically being Wenwu's personal, like, court jester. And it is super goofy. What is not goofy is the wonder that was Morris.
The little fluffy friend.
The little fluffy winged baby that I need 13 of to be in a cuddle puddle with, just so I can just like lay on them and just sleep. Just sleep.
I basically have one, actually. As soon as that little guy came onto screen, Naomi was like, it's Gemma, which is our dog, which you can probably hear.
Yeah.
You hear someone snoring?
No
Yeah.
snoring. No snoring. I would like to though.
She's in the background of almost every Let's Get Bitchin' episode.
Oh.
She snores because she doesn't have a nose canal. This is our whatever that little creature is called. We also call her a porg. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really
yeah,
upset.
a
I
pork,
woke
that,
her up
that
from
makes
her
sense.
nap.
A little pork. Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably the closest you'll get, and you can borrow her anytime you want.
Okay, beautiful. That I will take that offer. That is fine. That's fine. So, anyways, we get this relationship now between Morris and Trevor Slattery, the actor, and basically Trevor is the direct translator for Morris. I died. Where he said, "Oh my God, you can see him. I thought he was just a hallucination," and and so he is now
was so good.
the direct translator for this small little fuzzy cute animal thing with no face. He even goes to say, "Oh, he's very sensitive about the no face thing," so they try not to mention it anymore, which they don't for the rest of the movie. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Respect Morris's boundaries. We stand fucking Morris out here, okay? We protect Morris. We protect Morris in this family. All right?
Honestly, we need a Morris spin-off show, please. Movie.
Ooh, please. Please.
That might actually be hype. He's back in his home.
Mm-hmm. That'd be very, very hype. Anyways, Morris tells Trevor through a long, convoluted conversation that Morris actually knows the way, a back secret way, to get to the village of Shang-Chi's family. Mother, to be specific. And that he will lead them the way. So they steal a car down in the basement of the castle, and Razor Fist is there to try to take them down because it's a Razor Fist car. Because it says Razor Fist on the side of the fucking car. And he even says out loud, "That's my car," as he's watching them on the security monitors. They have an entire exit shootout thing. They leave. They have a funny fucking scene outside of the bamboo forest where they sort of explain Morris a little bit more. And they explain what happened with Trevor a little bit more in depth. Lots of really cool shit there. And then we have the maze scene in the bamboo. They go through that. Trevor's saying, stay in the pocket, Katie's like, what the fuck is the pocket? And he's like, I don't know, just stay in the pocket. And then Morris is giving directions. It is fucking beautiful. They get to the village. And this village has some of the most beautiful visual effects, beautiful artwork in this fucking village.
Ever.
The creature design, incredible. The creature design. Okay, like this
Creature
design. It was insane. Oh my God, the lions, the nine-tailed foxes, all of it together.
Nine tails.
The outfit artistry, like the costume design was fucking beautiful. Shishi, thank you, Xander. It was outstanding. Seeing this for the first time, right? Were you guys in the same boat with me where like they had that opening, the two phoenixes fly in the air, and you were like, oh shit, this is it? And
You know what that
Yeah.
remind me of?
what?
Hollow Earth from Kong
Godzilla
versus
versus Kong.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, and it was beautiful. It was a dope moment. Both of those were dope moments. Honestly, I thought they handled it really really well going into the introduction of the village, but most importantly, the introduction to the people of the village. Most importantly, though, Shang-Chi's aunt, played by Michelle Yeoh, the queen
Yo,
of martial arts movies, the star of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, is still alive and kicking, still doing the motherfucking thing, is no longer a Ravager in Guardians. It's just been killing it. And now she is in this, playing as Shang-Chi's auntie. They go through an entire sort of like training montage talking about how to defend the village from the Ten Rings because they know that they're going to attack. Shang-Chi gets a little bit of a lesson with his auntie, Yingnan. Thank you, Xander, again. He's giving me reminders as we go. I appreciate Xander. You're the best. We get an entire little training montage between him and Katie. Katie learning how to shoot a bow. Even Shai Ling gets the fucking kunai on the rope made out of an entire fucking dragon scale, which is one of the dopest things on the planet. We get that scene. Oh my god, all of it put together. So it was one of the best training montages ever. And it wasn't even really like a training montage. It was like very fast, like simplistic training montage. And that's all we needed. We didn't need like a whole like, oh, the 10 rings are me here. Okay, let's take 6 weeks to train. I'm glad they did not handle
Right.
it that way. But with that said, we get the attack of the Ten Ring. The Ten Rings comes and attacks the village, and the massive battle ensues. Shang-Chi fights Wenwu for a little bit. Wenwu wins, knocking Shang-Chi into the water. Dude, okay, I want to pause here actually really quick. This standoff between Shang and his dad inside was like the pinnacle of the climax of them having that tension coming out with each other because you're like, oh, I've been waiting to watch him beat the shit out of his dad for about an hour and a half now. I'm fucking in. Let's go, dude. And just the way that they handle that conversation was so. I was hot. I was like, ooh, y'all are killing it. Y'all are making me angry just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is wild. Wenwu beats his ass, throws him in the water. And,
that's it, just throw him in the water.
Oh, yeah.
He straight up punches him, and Shang-Chi flies through the water, and he has a Moses moment where it separates the water and everything.
Yep.
Like that, like if that wasn't Shang-Chi and if he was not wearing a dragon scale armor shirt,
yeah.
he would have been dead. He would have been
Done for.
obliterated. His torso would have blown out. He just like straight up blasted in a million pieces. Like,
Yeah.
that was nutty.
Oh, dude. Oh.
Following up to this moment when they have the standoff when the Ten Rings get there, when they're fighting and there's the regular peons and they're like literally sitting there trying to hit one of the lions over and over, and it like looks at him, it's like, seriously, and just like backhands him.
Yeah, dude,
like,
that was so funny.
That's like a Hulk, like Loki moment almost. Or like you remember like Hulk and Thor at the like in Avengers when they're like, "Are you guys done fighting now?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're good." And Hulk just gets like one last punch in on Thor, you know.
Dude, it was oh my god. They handled the like animals being a part of the fight very nicely because they like I was really really hoping they would not have all the animals in it because obviously not all those animals are going to be defending this fucking village. Like they're not all massive animals like the Shishi lions were. Like, but they handled the Shishi lions defending the village perfectly. Because I think Devin mentioned this at some point to me was like how cool it was that the lions were just swatting shit around in a way that like was very visceral and very violent, but then they would like soften up for a moment. They'd have a little cute little soft moment for a second, and it was just like, dude, like they handled the creature design surprisingly well in this. I gotta ride that
They
wave
had
with you.
whole personalities. Like they weren't just furniture in the fight scenes. They weren't just
Yes.
furniture in the city. They were creatures with emotions and purpose, and they were invested in their home being protected. And they all had a vital role in that, even the ones that weren't fighting. Like everybody had a role, and they knew that, and they did it. And that, yeah.
So good. We get a part here after Wenwu blasts Shang-Chi through the damn water. He then hears the voice again, sees the doorway with the dragon scale door on the front of it, and fucking weirdly, like, booster shoots himself into the sky across the fucking lake in one of the coolest fashions. He uses his hands like fucking Mega Man, just blasting over the lake in front of the door. And then we get the very beautiful scene of the dragon meeting up with Shang inside the lake. And that slow-mo pan of Shang drowning and sinking and sinking and sinking. And then big old dragon boy, big old slinky boy comes out of nowhere. It's like, brah,
Slinky boy.
you gotta wake the fuck up, dude. And Shang's like, because he's underwater, he can't speak, right?
Yeah.
But the Great Protector Dragon is like, brah, like, what the fuck's going on, my dude? Like, you gotta get it
In that
together.
moment, someone got all the Dragon Balls and was like, I do not want Shang-Chi to die. Save him, please.
I'm saying, bro, he's fucking out there. Anyways, when we starts punching at the door, a bunch of weird, creepy fucking demon bat things come flying out and start attacking the village. We get a very funny scene of the Ten Ring soldiers in there, the cronies in there fighting the villagers, and they're having this engagement, and then the bats are coming. The villagers are trying to explain to them, you need to stop. Like, this is no longer about us. And Razor Fist is now involved, where he's like, oh, shut the fuck up, basically. And the bats come, the bats slaughter two of their soldiers. And he's like, okay, let's team up. Like,
not just one of their soldiers, the Death Dealer.
It was the Death Dealer specifically. That's right.
That's right. When that happens, that's when Razor Fist looks on him. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a part. Go ahead, Genesee.
He didn't just say, okay, yeah, we'll fight him with you. He was like, he said exactly what she had said.
Oh, that's right. He's like, maybe we should team up. Like something like that. He's just like.
And I was like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, dude. And
you
then we
should die for that.
And then we have the little scene of them lined up on the beach ready to fight the bats, like the little soul sucker demons, and he's like switching out his sword for like one of the dragon scale swords, and it's one of the funniest little things where he just like plugs it in, and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of hype. That
was very cool.
Anyways, as Xander mentions in the chat, Shang is saved by the Great Protector Dragon using air bubbles underwater that the Protector Dragon is blowing through his beautiful dragon scaly slinky boy nose. And keeps him from drowning. So he awakes Shang, and Shang, having a weird, like, sort of emotional awakening in the midst of this, jumps out of the water and confronts his father once more in front of the demon door. And in the midst of fighting his father, we get a fucking amazing fight scene between Shang and Wenwu. And essentially giving us this transition of power between the Ten Rings from his dad to him. And this fight was so beautifully done from front to freaking back. Oh my god, it was beautiful. The way the lighting, the whole like color exchange, and how like when Shang gets it, it turns red, but when his dad gets it turns blue, and they were like switching back and forth, and like, oh, it was so freaking cool. It was so cool, dude. Anyways, at the end of this fight, Shang is in a position where he could very easily kill his dad, and he doesn't. Instead, we have a moment where a giant fucking dragon comes crashing out from this demon door, and you basically find out that there's a giant dragon tentacle leg fucking thing that's flying around. It looks like a giant version of the little soul sucker bat dudes. And now we're all fucked. And it immediately starts flying towards the village. And in desperation, Sean's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And then the great fucking protector dragon comes out of the lake like a total fucking badass. And boom, we got a fucking kaiju fight. Let's fucking go. Xander said it exactly spot on. We got ourselves a kaiju fight with people involved. Directly involved, and it is one of the most video game ass fucking final act fight things I feel like I've ever fucking seen, short of an actual video game movie. Like, this shit was bonkers. Oh my god, it was so good.
It reminds me of like a God of War, like a timed button interaction, or like Final Fantasy 15 when you fight the Leviathan in Final Fantasy 15.
Yep. Dude, like it was like every major part of Final Fantasy Advent Children smashed into one cool fucking action thing. Like, dude, Shang-Chi rides the fucking protector dragon. Are you kidding me? He rides up, and Xiling is right. They're riding on the head of the great. Oh my god, it was so beautiful. One thing I do want to take a step back though. There is one moment that I want to actually like sort of bring up to you guys and kind of loosely hear your thoughts on. There's a moment where Shang-Chi jumps onto the dragon's head, and it's the first moment that Xiling and Shang see each other, and she sees that Shang has the rings on his arm. Her assumption is, I think, up to interpretation, because either she is saying, oh cool, you got them, I got respect for you, or she's saying, I think you killed Dad and we'll figure this out later, sort of thing, because there's something bigger obviously going on here right now. What do you guys think? What were your interpretations? What did it hit of for you? Genesee, let's start with you real quick.
I think so. Earlier, I was talking about my mixed feelings about her and her position with Shang-Chi, and I think that part of what that is I think that something that was very, very clear from the very beginning is that she was very resentful of him because he was trained and she was not, right?
Yeah.
Her father, and of course for him, for Shang, that was such a burden. Like, he didn't want to be trained. He was forced to be turned into a killer. But for her, she never got the opportunity. It was never a question. So I think that that's really important, because that, for me, is like, we were obviously getting Shang-Chi's origin story, but we also got the sisters. And so I actually have a big prediction kind of based off of this moment. I don't really think it was either of those. I think what it is she wants the rings for herself, because she has always been resentful of him being the obvious choice for the rings because he's a man. And then, of course, at the end, we have that whole thing. So my prediction is that in the next Shang-Chi movie, she is going to be the villain, and she's going after them rings. I don't know if this was the spot for that, but I put it in there.
No, for sure. I appreciate you. Devin, what was your beat on this? What do you think about the scene?
I think she was surprised that he got the rings from her father.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she was more so surprised because in her head, her father was, unbeatable.
Unstoppable, yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right.
he's 1,000 years old. So I think that just pondered the question to her, are they more easily obtainable than she thought originally?
Ooh, that's a good take. I like that.
So there's that. And there is probably a part of her that might think that he did kill their father. As much as they hated him, that's still, going to be driving a wedge in the family right there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But anyways,
is he dead?
Oh yeah.
Wenwu?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. His soul got sucked. His soul got sucked. Yeah. His soul sucky ducky.
See, I already forgot.
As one Cabal in 2021's Mortal Kombat would say, he's getting his soul sucked. I love when he sucks souls.
You said it wrong.
I know. It doesn't fucking matter.
He's getting his soul sucked. Oh, I love it when he sucks souls.
Cabal was the Jersey accent guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Where he's like, he's getting his soul. You see that? He's getting his soul sucked. I love when he sucks souls. Like, he says some stupid shit like that. And I was like, God, why do they have to do that, dude? Like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
I have zero context for what that was about, so it was an incredible
that was between us. That was fine.
Thank you.
It was a very weird, awkward moment that they did not have to have in a movie that was already kind of weird and awkward as it is. I too like to have my soul sucked. Anyways, we
I don't think that's called a soul, or no.
Sure it is.
I hate it here.
We can't put, you love us, Devin, don't lie to me. We can't possibly get worse than what happened during the Loki incident. I don't think we could ever get worse than the thing. I mean, the whole episode was an incident.
The
whole episode.
In for life.
Yeah. Wait, what happened?
They're never gonna let us in the crocodile exhibit ever again.
Listen. If it keeps us from getting endorsements, we don't want those endorsements anyways. You know what I'm saying?
If you have a problem with weird alligator masturbation jokes, you don't belong here.
That's fair. That is fair. And in a weird way, that's exactly what I'm talking about now. Because here, we have two giant dragon fucking things fighting each other for a good, 25 fucking minutes during this part. One of the most hyped 25 fucking minutes ever of these two dragons fighting. There's even a part where the Dweller dragon, as they sort of call it was the Dweller in the Dark or whatever, actually physically grabs the Protector dragon and starts sucking its soul from its mouth. Which was hot. It was hot.
It
looked like a bird feeding a baby bird.
I was like,
that's not my take.
Yeah, it wasn't my take either, Genesee, I'll tell you that. He was like, and I
was like, just like, yo, I'm gonna spit in your mouth.
This show just took a turn. Anyways, these two fight each other for a little bit. We have one of the dopest fucking scenes where Shang-Chi is basically falling from the fucking sky with the rings, about to just blast straight through the fucking stomach of this dragon thing. And it happens. Oh, the fight was so dope.
Before this happens, though.
Yes.
The soul is being sucked out of the green Slinky.
Yeah. Slinky boy. Yeah.
Why?
Katie musters up the strength and the precision to shoot an arrow from the village across the lake and hit the Dark Dweller right in the throat.
Katie, that's right.
One said soul sucking. Give credit where it's due, good sir.
Yes, that's right. Sorry,
Katie.
I was so focused on the sucking of the souls, I almost forgot that Katie kind of goes in raw herself, one would say, and just goes in there with a fucking arrow straight to the throat of the Dweller in the Dark.
He blocked
that's something.
The Dark Dweller.
The Dark Dweller, he dwells in the dark.
I feel like that's something that we should touch on, is that, like, we talked about the training sequence, right? And it felt like it was absolutely the most appropriate length of time. But what felt really interesting about it was that everyone except Katie and what's his face, the dude who talks to the animals
Trevor's
without a face.
Yeah. Trevor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Morris.
I can't remember.
I'd argue that maybe Morris is
yeah.
part of this too.
Morris.
Yeah.
Morris.
Yeah.
They're the only two that are not trained for this, right?
Yep.
Everyone else has some sort of training, and obviously, like, Shang-Chi is getting new skills. And, like, the sister is finally being allowed to train with other people. But Katie really just came out here and was like, hey, I have never touched a bow in my life, but we're going for it. And she was a natural, right? We kind of saw that, which is something that in the MCU we've seen before, right? Like we have talked about like people being very natural in terms of art of archery, and we're gonna have a whole show about that coming soon. So I thought something that I thought
Ooh.
was exactly. Thank you. I have it written down. That's a prediction, motherfuckers. I'm sorry. That was so loud. That was so loud.
Oh,
Yeah.
Genesis going
Love
in.
that.
Oh, wow. All right.
Now Genesee's going in raw. We're just all
Oh, wow. We are on it. Wow. I don't know what happened. We hit about an hour 15 and we just said fuck it.
It was better than last time. Last time it was like 20 minutes and we were like low-key
Hey,
masturbation.
we're doing pretty good, all things considered tonight.
We're doing great. We're
doing
improving.
shit.
Obviously our 12 step.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So yeah, so I absolutely think that first of all there's just a general note of like I think that they balanced that really well, and that something that Marvel is getting better with over time is like actually having characters be as powerful as they should be. We saw that with Captain Marvel. I think that was really the first time they did it, where the character was exactly as powerful as it should be, and the fight scene went exactly as it should. They had her going up against like 5 different people, and she was kicking ass. She was not struggling. Captain Marvel is not someone who should struggle in a fight. Same with Shang-Chi, is that there should be a certain level of struggle, but he is incredibly powerful, incredibly strong. And if you showed anything else, it would not be true to who he is as a character. And all of that felt very true in it. And I loved that. I think that Marvel's getting a lot better at that. They also like the match between like the 2 dragon-like characters and then like the magical creatures fighting the human, etc. army.
Yes.
Felt very well matched. That felt very well matched. And the length of and like the types of like moves that everybody was doing and the type like the extent to which people were being injured or were being like pushed down felt appropriate. Even just with Shang-Chi and his dad, that made a lot of sense that his dad would be able to knock him on his ass because he's been fighting for 1,000 years and has been skilled with the rings for 1,000 years.
Yes, very much.
And then it made sense that Shang-Chi was able to take the rings from his father because there was something that was, I feel like they didn't explicitly talk about it, but throughout the movie, there was this kind of undertone of language of being deserving of the rings. And we saw his father over and over and over again, not being deserving of the power of the rings.
Yeah.
And so you saw the rings, like Shang-Chi didn't take them. His father didn't give them to them. The rings chose him.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you bring that up because it's like, sorry, I don't know if I interrupted or not.
No, that's it. I will get back to my Katie point because that's
for
important.
sure. Okay. It's just interesting because they talk a lot about worthiness in the MCU, right? Like that's a pretty reoccurring theme, I feel like, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and how they play with that is so interesting because I don't feel like we ever get tired of it. And I don't feel like I ever will get tired of it. You know?
I think the most hype moment in all of Marvel, regardless of how good you think any movie is when Cap puts his hand out,
gets his hammer.
Mjolnir.
I knew it!
Right there. And then Thor's like, I knew it!
Yes.
And that just falls back to Age of Ultron when he's like, and he goes to pick it up and he moves a little bit. He's like, ah.
And the way,
like,
the way Chris Hemsworth was like,
Chris was stressed.
So funny, so damn funny. With that said, let's gonna get to the end of things here. We see a part where Trevor is lying on the ground and Morris thinks that Trevor is dead. Very sweet, heartfelt moment. And then he wakes up and says, "It's acting, you fool. Join me." And then he lays down with them. A very cute little like play dead sort of thing. It was fucking adorable. Anyways, you have an entire outro of the dragon, and they talk about remembering their dead. They have an entire funeral ceremony at the village, and then it moves to a scene when they are back to dinner with their weird judgmental friend, and they're explaining the adventure that they just went on, and as they're giving Shang and Katie slack, saying, what kind of proof do you have? And they're like, oh, we don't really have any. A fucking wonderful portal opens behind them with the king himself, Wong. Okay, one Benedict Wong comes marching out saying, I'm looking for Shang-Chi. And you get a very funny, like, that's me moment from the table. And as they're all in dismay, I was dying where he was like, I'll Venmo you for the drinks. It was like one of the funniest fucking moments there.
And everybody in the restaurant is just like,
They just stop.
Because I'm sure all of them could overhear the conversation. They're like, oh no, there's no fucking way. Right? These two are fucking idiots, right?
That, and I took that moment more as like when the whole restaurant responded, is that they did a wonderful job in this movie of like setting the scene for like the world around them. There were so many like random posters about the blip and all of that stuff, right? Did you notice that?
Yeah.
When they're walking into the apartments, everything, it's everywhere. So I'm sure that these people are just chilling in this bar, having a drink, casual like Wednesday night, and they think that they're in the middle of the next attack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, oh shit, we just got caught in an Avengers movie. Fuck. Everybody get out.
Yeah, they're like, everybody needs to leave now.
Like, is this what we trained for? Is this the videos that we watched at work? Is this what they were talking about? Like imagine living in this universe. Like, instead of having fire drills, they would be having like alien
Hero
attack
drills.
Yeah.
Or like,
if you see an Avenger, run away.
maybe they all look so polarized because they also found out. They're like, wait, I saw that guy on YouTube, Busboy.
Oh, Busboy. That's right. That's true, dude. Xander says blip drills. I like that. Blip drills.
Blip drills.
That sounds
Yes.
good. That's a good
Half
one.
the people, like 50% of the class, comes out with a freaking broom and dustpan.
Oh.
Too soon.
Oh, come on, man.
Mr.
That was oh, that's rough, dude. Oh, that's rough.
I don't feel good.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Stark.
I don't want to. Oh, you son of a bitch!
I'm dead.
Oh, my heart! My heart!
Tony's dead.
My heart! Oh,
It's a mess.
oh, damn it. Anyways, they go to the sanctum with Wong. We get to the end of the movie, and then we have a mid-credit scene showing Wong and Shang and Katie talking about the rings alongside one Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, and Hulk. Now, what's interesting here, we obviously
Devin.
Devin's he's beating for it. He's ready to go. He's wrapping it up. He's wrapping it up. Devin, go for it. Go for it.
I just now that we're talking about Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers, Hulk and Captain Marvel.
Mhm.
Two things I thought that was interesting. Timeline. This is after Endgame, of course. They talk about the blip.
Yes.
We don't know exactly how long after.
Right.
But Bruce Banner is now human form again. And he's still wearing a sling on his right arm. He's still wearing a sling on his right arm. And Carol Danvers has long hair again.
Yes. Yes.
Two things. I just want to put that out. Continue.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, Carol Danvers, we could argue that because time moves differently in space, that's, she could be out there for much longer than what it feels like on Earth 616. But what I found interesting is that Bruce was wearing this weird, like, bracelet device on his other hand. And I'm curious as to whether or not that is potentially keeping the Hulk thing at bay for right now. Until he maybe finds it, like, maybe that is actually more important than they're even really letting off, because they don't acknowledge it at all. It literally just shows him, like, fumbling with his arm sling with that hand, and on that hand he has that bracelet. It was like blinking with a light thing on it. And I was like, ooh, that might be important later on. Go ahead.
Which there are the rumors that there might be a new Hulk movie, and they might be pulling it from the World Breaker Hulk, where he turns back into more of a primal Hulk.
Yeah, it could
because
be.
of him going back and forth and tampering with
Yeah,
it.
'cause we haven't
Xander
had a
says, "Tap
Hulk
me in,
movie.
coach."
Genesee, what was that? What'd you say?
We haven't had a Hulk movie in like forever,
Yep,
Yeah.
they weren't
right?
allowed to do it because Universal had the rights, but they over the last couple of years they got the rights back from Universal. They were allowed to use the character but not make the movies.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but they
Okay, that
do
makes
have
sense.
those rights again. I believe that was part of
Sick.
the Fox acquisition. They might have
I love that.
snuck that one in there with it.
Yeah.
Xander says, "Tap me in, coach."
Oh, tap you in? Tap you in?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Uh-oh.
yeah. I think he wants to join in here and say
Xander, if you
something.
here, let me.
Make sure it's ready.
Yeah, Xander, you are good to go whenever you are
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
go, my
You're
guy.
tapped in. You're tapped in.
We got to be hurry though. We want to try to cut this
Tap,
off in
tap,
about
tap.
15. Oh, Xander is in. What's happening, Xander?
What's going on? What's going on? All right,
What's
so
happening? Okay, hit us with it.
hear me out, dude.
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 What do we know so far? We're all caught up with everything, right? Have you guys watched the latest What If? Because it's going to touch on that a little bit.
I have not.
I haven't.
I have not.
Oh,
I
with
haven't
Okay,
Doctor Strange?
I'll ixnay that portion.
That one?
So what we know so far is that everything is kind of revolving around these multiversal, universal breaking events happening pretty much right around the same time. We've seen it where people are syncing the ending of WandaVision with the ending of Loki. We have potentially this moment in No Way Home happening roughly around the same time, as well as with Shang-Chi destroying the Dweller in the Dark. These are all potentially multiversal collapsing events, all happening all at once. I want to know what you guys think about this,
I
and if this
actually
could
kinda
lead
agree with
into
you.
what we may see in Eternals.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that in a sense because I actually was kind of talking to Ernell about this the other day that I feel like No Way Home and Shang-Chi might be taking place around the same time because we already know that Far From Home is like what 6 months after
3
the snap?
months. 3 months.
3 months? 3 months
Yeah.
after
3
the
months.
snap? Do you think we're a year past the snap now with them being so lax about it in
I
Shang-Chi?
don't. I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, there's nothing to solidify that, like, factually.
I
at all.
think that's a good estimation though, because Falcon was about what 6 months,
Yeah.
right, or 8 months.
The reason I
so-
bring
Something
this
like
up is so we're touching on the post-credit scene with the rings, correct?
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have this gut feeling that they are going to completely change the origin that that it comes from an ancient alien McLuhan technology, which was Fing Fang Foom.
Yes.
I believe they are going to tie this to Eternals,
Like the
based
deviant
on the
would make
fact
sense.
that Carol Danvers has no recollection of this type of technology, and she's been around. She's been around the block. And Bruce Banner, arguably one of the smartest scientists on MCU's Earth currently.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are going to try and tie this to Eternals based on the fact that they said that this is much more ancient than even 1,000 years. This is who knows, beginning of time even. Eternals.
Yeah, no, that
That's
makes
my
sense.
2 cents.
Now also another thing to take note in the trailer for No Way Home, it does show Wong leaving Doctor Strange
Yeah.
at the Sanctum, and he has a ton of luggage with him and bags, and he tells Doctor Strange, don't do the spell, I have to go, and he disappears. And then in Shang-Chi, we see him, back in the library at the temple and everything. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
wonder if Wong had to go back to the temple, and this might even be a little bit after Spider-Man No Way Home, like just a little bit,
Does he not
because-
have
Okay,
access
so-
to it from the New York Sanctum anymore, though?
I don't know, but he's in the temple in Shang-Chi, in the library.
Yes. Like, that is definitely the library at the... Genesee, what were you going to say?
So we're getting into predictions now, right? That's what we're doing. You're
I think
saying
essentially,
happening?
yeah, we can kind of move into this
Okay.
for the last, like, 10 minutes here, so...
Devin, I feel like you're actually like inching right near a prediction that I have. That I think Shang-Chi and or Katie are going to be in Doctor Strange or Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Either like both of them or one of them. Because I think that the because I think that obviously they're going to interact more with Doctor Strange, and I think that's really what they set it up for. So I feel like what you're touching on is that there are like these kind of parallels happening, is that like while Doctor Strange is dealing with Spider-Man, Wong is out here dealing with Shang-Chi and whatever's going on with him. And I have a feeling that what we see in Spider-Man No Way Home is going to converge in the next Doctor Strange movie, when we're also going to have Wanda, right?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
with the book thing that I'm forgetting the name of.
Darkhold.
So I think it's going to be
yeah.
Darkhold. Yes. Yeah. I think shit's going to go down. I also think, kind of tangentially, prediction-wise, Katie, they're going to build more on her archery thing. I think it has to happen. I think that she's going to go into a full training mode where she like gets her archery shit together, and she's like, "Hey, my best friend is a full-on superhero now. I'm going to be around. I'm sticking through this, so I need to beef up." And I think that they're going to do that in Hawkeye. I think she's going
That
to
would
be in
be cool.
Hawkeye.
I just kind of had an epiphany. So Xander, going on your prediction about it being based off of Eternal's technology for
Trash.
the 10 rings.
Trash.
Um,
Trash prediction.
I just thought about this. So in the trailer for Eternals, they talk about the emergence, right?
Correct.
They talk about how the snap of the fingers, how they happen so many times over the years with the Infinity Stones, how that released so much cosmic energy, it kind of like jump started the celestial that is inside Earth. What if the way that Shang-Chi used the 10 rings was like the last bit of juice they needed of cosmic energy for the celestial, for the emergence?
So I'm thinking that could very well be it. But what I'm thinking is, I think so. We're getting the Eternals next, and then Spider-Man, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
I think that all these multiversal cosmic events, including the snap, I think it's all like a big domino effect. I don't
Yeah.
think we're actually going to get to the emergence just yet in Eternals. I think that is a very big potential threat that they're going to potentially put at bay for a little bit. And I think by the time No Way Home hits, that's when things start crumbling down,
Sure.
giving us the
Sure.
multiverse of madness.
Okay. Okay, that's like the last straw in a
Mm-hmm.
sense of all the
Yeah.
timeline branches and everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, multiverse of Matt. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, one could say what Wanda unleashes, which hypothetically speaking, because she's studying the Darkhold, she can make that tear in the multiverse right at the
Mephisto.
beginning.
Mephisto.
Yeah,
Give us
yeah. And
Mephisto.
since you said that, can we touch on how we all thought of Mephisto for a second?
Yeah, dude, we were so convinced it was Mephisto,
Yeah.
dude. God damn it.
I was like, they're gonna use Shang-Chi to introduce Mephisto. What?
I
You
know.
what I mean?
it would have been pretty cool. It would have been pretty cool. I was still kind of happy with the soul sucky boy. I was fine with him. I was fine with him. You know. I guess as far as Devin, would you say that that's kind of your prediction? Would you say that's your prediction for this?
What part? The Eternals thing?
For like Shang-Chi being applied and the 10 rings being applied in the greater MCU. Like, what do you expect on that?
That would make sense because Marvel does have a tendency to kind of change things a little bit for their multiverse,
Sure.
their universe. So I could see it, and if you think about it, the coloring of the rings and everything, and just like the textures and stuff like that. Now think about the spaceship from Eternals. That
It does have very
it-
Celestials design work that's
Yeah.
like on the rings for sure.
yeah, and just how powerful the rings are just as an item, just alone. It could
Yeah.
be a celestial, and weapon or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess really like the only prediction I'd be able to make at all based on this, really, that we haven't really just discussed 1,000 times over on this damn show, would I don't know if I can buy that they would just toss away the Mokluans so easily. I think the Mokluans are going to be like the opposing side of the Deviants. I feel like that is not the Eternals. I feel like the Eternals are kind of just be like a separate thing that are more like universal wide, while the Mokluans are sort of like minding their own fucking business out in space. And Genesee, do you know who the Mokluans are?
No,
Okay, so the Mokluans are the
I was writing it down to Google it.
No, it's okay. The Mokluans are an alien dragon race that created the Ten Rings in the comics.
Got it.
So the ten rings are actually pieces of a spaceship that landed on Earth that was from the Mokluan race. That Wenwu, technically he's not called Wenwu in the comics. Wenwu went and killed the pilot, and stole the rings out of a part of the machine in the engine of the spaceship. And the alien that he killed, that he took it from, begged him not to do it because he knew it would be too powerful. So that, with that said, we start talking about greater universal shit, which is what Xander is sort of trying to explain, is like having that on top of this, on top of that, on top of this, on top of me getting my soul sucked, is all just sort of like compiled.
Welcome to the circus.
I was waiting for it.
All kind of just stacks on top of each other. I think they do still have room in the MCU for the Mokluans. I think they're gonna put it in a position where Fin Fang Foom is the only one left, though.
Yeah.
And that's gonna kind of like be their bridge. When they introduce that, I don't know. I would assume it would, if anything, would fit best in the Eternals movie, but
It might talk about them.
I feel like
we
it might
don't
be
see
too
them.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to talk too
feeling
much,
like-
let's talk about fucking the next Spider-Man movie and how there's fucking 19 things happening in that goddamn movie
Which,
already.
by the way, I actually found some potential news on No Way Home from my normal Instagram source that I have to translate from Portuguese, but but apparently it comes from a very reliable source, and that I don't want to just go like on a wild tangent on No Way Home, but it is much more wild. If these are true, it is much more wild than we could even imagine. Just based on what we know so far to be confirmed.
Well, then maybe
I'll just leave it at that.
Maybe
you should
we can
tell me.
speculate
I
just a
think-
little bit more
yeah.
as we come to the end of the episode, because this has been the Good Kraken Podcast, a show for nerdy marginalized peoples, giving you the video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted to hear, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 12 p.m. right here at twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow. If you enjoy the show, support us by subscribing below, going to our YouTube channel by clicking the link in the About section of our Twitch page and clicking that bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there. Hit us in the comments with what you guys think is going to happen in the MCU, please. We want to hear from you guys. Reply to us, give us those tweets, give us those comments, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think is going on. Let us know how you like Shang-Chi. But until next time, my friends, be good to each other and sucking his soul.
Welcome to the circus.
I love when he's sucking his soul.